Hello and welcome to A Celtic World, the YouTube channel and podcast made by Celtic fans all over the world, for Celtic fans all over this great big world. You know, I promised I was going to say something different this season, but I haven't worked out what it is that I'm going to start the show with. But the answer's on a postcard. Let me know in the comments what you want me to say instead of that. Um, okay, hello everyone in the comments, of course, as always. And hello to our contributors tonight. Better start with a face we haven't seen for a while. A very welcome face, as always. All the way from Celtic AM, we have Perth Paul joining us. What do we owe the pleasure, Paul?
Very good. Only moonlight there, Gav. This is home. And if anyone's been watching the tactical review, they will obviously have seen me in the last couple of weeks. So, good to be back on Thursday nights. Not sure how regular that will be over the next little while. I'm going to go on holiday for a bit. But I will try to make myself available for selection on Thursdays, but we'll always be on Monday nights on the tactical review, reviewing the match from the weekend. But yeah, nice to be back on the show.
Great to have you back. Did you do anything exciting over the break?
Well, it's just been a very hectic period. We're in the process of, I can't remember if I've told you this, but we're actually gonna we were gonna have a little house down south, and it was supposed to be used for a bit of a holiday home for a bit, but we've decided to sod it. We're gonna pull the pin and go. So yeah, we're in the process of trying to pack up one house to sell, and then try and move stuff to the other one. So I think we're going to go on holiday at the weekend and down to the other house, spend a few weeks in the southwest, enjoy all that. It's my wife's 40th at the end of the month. We also got her, for anyone that's been following along, we got her 5-year cancer all clear last month. So she is massively in the clear. So that's great news. It's been a tough old journey, but we're there. And so, 2 bits of good news for her to celebrate this winter. We're going down there to enjoy the new house and probably hit a few wineries and breweries. And then in a few months, that will be permanent life. So, but hectic. Well, spent a lot of time watching the World Cup, which was mostly enjoyable, albeit not Scotland. Just been looking forward to Celtic getting back and some positive news. And for the most part, the last week or two has been pretty positive. You're on mute, Gav.
That's my first one of those of the season. First one of those of the season. Dogs barking, as I always explain. It's been insanely positive, and let's say hello to the insanely positive Eddie. How's it going, Eddie, in Bangkok?
Oh, good. Thanks, Gav. Good to see you again, Paul. Good news about your wife, by the way. Really good news. And all adds to the positivity at the moment. It's been nice to have a week or so of kind of positivity and actually have a game where you can sit and watch for 90 minutes and you're not hiding behind your fingers or hiding behind the couch. So that's good. And then, not been doing much since I was last on, but keeping a good eye on the transfers, which seem to be happening thick and fast in the last few days, with everybody wondering why or where, who's lost a credit card or who's lost the key to the safe or what, because things seem to be moving quickly all of a sudden, which is not before time. But it's all pretty positive until we've heard a couple of bits of news today and seen Martinoneill as well. So looking forward to another game on Saturday.
Okay, well, hello to everyone in the chat. Like I say, hello to 420. I haven't interacted with you yet this season, but you've been in my thoughts every time I see a picture of Mika Bauer. Have you noticed the sponsor on his top is like a 420 dispensary or something? Every time I see that, I'm reminded of one of our favorite viewers. There you go. All right. Well, what are we going to talk about? There's loads to get through. Loads, in fact. So this is the thumbnail. And, I made this yesterday morning and it's already pretty out of date. I was saying, come on, let's build on this positivity, as in, let's get some more players in. There's been loads of news in the last 30 hours. So I could have had different players involved here. You can see who's on it there. Obviously, Hassan's there, which is accurate. The very happy kasperhogh, which is accurate. Martin back with a bit of sun on his face, which is good to see, although that's not a recent picture. And And there's your man United. May not be featuring in our story, but build on the positivity. Okay, so let's talk about that. I'll tell you where I want to start, actually, is with this tweet that I see from Noah, Celtic Noah. And it's the question he asks at the start. What the fuck is happening? That's what I want to know. What exactly is happening? We're all happy and all that, but I mean, what I don't understand is this. There's one of two things is happening here, and I've seen them both on social media, right? One, I see posts saying, see all these fans who were complaining last year? They've been showing up to be a bunch of idiots. Well done, the board, for keeping a cool head. And then other posts taking the other part of the argument, saying, I see the fan action has clearly led to a rethink. Well done, the fans. And a little bit well done, the board. What's going on, Paul? How come everything has done a complete 180?
I thought maybe somebody had found the checkbook and it had been missing for a couple of years, and there was a few checks left in it, and they're decided to write a couple. Somebody got the logins for the bank account, and lo and behold, there's a ton of money in it. It might be able to do some business. I don't know. I've no idea. Look, I think last season, obviously, the outcome amazing, the journey horrific, for all of us, for the fans that were looking for more, and rightly so, for the players, for the change in managers, the fare on the pitch, and the board rightly were taking an absolute pounding, and they deserved every little bit of it for the performance over the last few years. And whilst we are all positive, I think it's fair to say they're starting to get some stuff right in the transfer market, but this is kind of the bare minimum that they should be doing. So I'm not going to get too carried away yet, but I think we are, as fans, mostly we want to see a good product on the pitch in terms of money invested in the team. There's much bigger problems around the stadium, the footprint, the infrastructure, all of that stuff. None of that's gone away. None of that's fixed yet. But I think we'd all agree that the place to start with is the playing staff and the team and the squad. And it looks like there's a wind of change blowing, and it needed to be. And I can't help but be leaning more towards the fans have made an impact, because if you think about the amount of protests, you think about how much abuse the board got, and rightly so. You think about the various campaigns, as disjointed as they have been, and sort of splitting groups, if you like, a little bit. They don't operate in a bubble. They see all that, and then I think also just people, and this wasn't campaign led. It was organic. But people just refusing to go to pretty dreadful friendly matches that were uninspiring in the first place, and there was nothing new to see. And I think if you add all of that up, plus even just from a logical point of view, you can't keep bringing in the same types of players who aren't good enough, don't make squads, don't contribute, and are eating up wages and have cost reasonable fees. So finally, at long last, I think the penny's dropped, and I'm sure Martinoneill has been a major part of this, and said, look, instead of filling the squad with guff, basically, let's buy less players for more money and get first team players in and around the team. And I think that's what we've done. We're still light in depth. If you go past the first 11, it's pretty light on. So we're still going to need quite a few players in. And yeah, without Brown Water makes a good point. I've not only read the first half of it, but people worrying about net spend. That's exactly what the model should be. You sell, and I'd rather he stayed. Everyone knows I'm a fan, but it's pretty obvious Engels goes. You want to maximize that, and that should be, if he goes to West Ham, that should be 25-30 plus another 5 or 10 if they go back up to the Prem in 1 year, and then an add-on clause as well for a sell-on. And that makes it a pretty attractive deal. But then use that money and buy 2-3 really good players that go straight into the first team and strengthen the squad. That's the model. That's what it should be. We should be shopping in the 5 to 10 to 12 mil category on a regular basis. And yeah, we can have a punt at 1.5, 2 occasionally as sort of future stuff, but that shouldn't be the core part of the business. And I've got no issue if we come out of every window with a net spend of 0, if we've turned over players and sold them at the right time for maximum profit, and we've added and strengthened the squad, and we come out with that stronger every window. That's what we should be doing. That's where we are in the pecking order. Other clubs, and we've talked about this loads, Bruges, Benfica, and others do this really well. That's where we should be operating. And hopefully, one swallow doesn't make a summer and all that, but hopefully there is a bit of a sea change.
Yeah. Eddie, another question I had was, when talking about net spend, speculating to accumulate and all that, do you think we have Nottingham Forest to thank for what's going on right now? Did what happened in January, make the scales fall from the eyes of those in charge of the purse strings?
It may have done. I mean, it came as a bit of a surprise to me. I think I said before on the channel that it came as a surprise to me that, first of all, we were offered that amount of money, and secondly, that we turned it down. Because I just thought there'd be a money grab from the board at that point. Maybe that was the first sign of a change. Maybe you're right. But I think if anybody had sort of said to us at the beginning of this window that we'd be sitting here and the ratio was 4-1 with 4 players actually being purchased and 1 on loan, if we're hearing the stories that are true, then I think we'd all be pretty pleased with that if that ratio was going to keep up. I mean, normally it's the other way around, and we're scrambling around for loanees at the moment. So as long as that trend keeps continuing, then fair enough. But I don't know whether it was the Forest effect. It'd be good if as Paul said, if we end up with 25-30 for Engels. I don't think any of the players that we're talking about or being bandied around at the moment I would see as direct replacement for Engels. I haven't seen that yet. I don't think so. But yeah, it's correct if we can get that net spend to 0. But we've in the quality, which so far, touch wood, we have with both Duran and Hogh, and hopefully Bauer and Hassan. Sorry, then that's the way it should be working, as Paul rightly says. And we've got to be doing that incrementally. I think the only concern is there's 2 things. I think the first thing, as I mentioned previously, is that we seem to always be at this stage towards the qualifiers where we're all sitting on the edges of a seat waiting for something to happen, whereas other clubs have done it earlier. And that's the first thing. And the other thing is that you're looking at it and thinking to yourself, well, we're still going to be scrambling around to fill that team and that squad by the time that Champions League qualifiers come up. And then we're all talking about the additional players that we can bring in at the last minute, the day before a game or whatever. And I don't think we should be at that stage. But it may be that over the next 2 or 3 years, we get to the point where we're not at that stage. And this is maybe a start of a build-up. What's also interesting is the sea changes is that we've still got, as I understand it, an interim chairman. Now, he's been interim for, 9 months? Was it January, I think? 8 or 9 months, I guess.
8,
right?
yeah.
So, interim's not really, it's not really the definition of interim. So is he doing something? Is he sort of pushing the right buttons? Who knows? And maybe that's why he's still there after 8 months as the interim chairman. And then somebody, I think, mentioned in the comments, is it a push or is it a little bit persuasion from Martinoneill and the comments that Callum McGregor's made in the past about matching ambition? Has that nudged the board as well as the fan action? It could be a whole bundle of bits and pieces all added up, but I don't think the board get a pass. I still don't think they get a pass, and they've still got lots and lots of things that they've got to improve. Paul mentioned the ground. There's all sorts of communications. Everything's got to still be improved from the board before they get pass marks. But, just the last 2 or 3 days with all the news coming through, and it's for a change, it's from pundits who are recognised as having, good information. It's not random pundits and random reporters. So it's positive, but you're always waiting for the kick in the proverbials, aren't you? with Celtic.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of people sounding the caution here in the comments. Christy saying it's best recruitment in years, but we're still not ready for the qualifier. So on that basis, it goes down as a failure, which is a bit of a downer. But I mean, it's not without a nugget of truth, that's for sure. Us not being as ready as we'd like to be. Mahesh, before we pour Gatorade over ourselves, Bauer, Hassan, maybe adequate replacements for the two going. Hopefully they don't, but not a slam dunk. Replacing Engels in particular will be difficult for sure. Okay, we're 16 minutes in. We've only just scratched the surface of the agenda. So we're going to have to run through some of these things quite quickly, gents. So I love hearing both of you speak, and I love how full your answers can be, but let's try and maintain a bit of brevity as we rush through these next few pages. All right. So Hassan is in. Amazing news. Carrying the ball and forcing defenders to make decisions is the key. Yes. Don't know if you saw Martin O'Neill stop talking about what players can't do. Let's focus on what they can do. And this guy can do things that our other wingers haven't really been doing, beating the man, running at pace. And everyone's very excited to see him. Whether he turns out to be the Messiah or not, we'll have to wait and see. Did you see somebody pointing out that his first name is Messiah spelled backwards? So there you go. That's quite good. Paul, what was that? Who pointed that out?
I think it was David, wasn't it? I think it was David.
It was El Presidente, I think, on the chat.
Oh, very good. All right. You know, other people saying, look, don't judge him by his stats. He's coming from a very different place to a very different place. And don't forget Jota's stats, some people point out. I thought that was very interesting. When you see Jota's goals and assists here before he joined Celtic were very close to zero. And then obviously we know he was brilliant for us. So there's some truth in that.
He's got lightning. He's got lightning pace, which it will. Yeah. It's the one thing defenses hate is lightning pace running at you. I obviously just seen a little bit from the World Cup. In terms of the team he's come from, they've been bottom of the league, so you're not going to be getting as many opportunities on the front foot if you're at the wrong end of the table in a league as good as La Liga. So yeah, he looked good in the World Cup. Really, on the basis of what we've seen of kasperhogh already, if you can get the ball into the area in the penalty box, there's a pretty good chance he'll be on the end of it. So, Hassan running quickly at the SPFL level defenders, I imagine he'll put a few in their backside. And then he just has to get it in the area. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm not getting carried away, but he's a right profile of player, 24 years old, come up through smaller teams in good leagues and made a bit of a name for himself in a very brief World Cup cameo. We know that World Cups aren't necessarily the perfect place to pick up a player, but I'm pretty sure we got Alistair Johnston on the back of a decent World Cup performance at the previous World Cup. So, I'm excited by it. It's the right kind of profile. It's the right kind of money spent, and fingers crossed, it works out.
Yeah, even Ali McCoist is a big fan. I cannot believe the skill we've just seen on the touchline. Goodness me, this fella, Hassan Hassan, has been unbelievable. He really is. He really has been. Tell you this. He's terrible, isn't he? All right, so Hassan is in. Amazing. I mean, in a normal world, we just spend the whole show talking about him, but there's just so much else going on. We better move it on, Eddie. I don't know why I have that there. What stage are we at now with Mika Bauer, Eddie? Is that done and dusted?
No, it's not been announced yet, as far as I'm aware. I think he agreed terms weeks ago, according to lots of reports. But as usual, Celtic were obviously bargaining away with his club. But I haven't seen an announcement.
No.
But it sounds like it's all but done. But then again, as I said earlier, you just don't know with Celtic. They could always do something to bugger up at last minute, knowing them.
I think this was done, just as I thought. We knew Hassan was done a few days ago. It took a while to get it out. Is it Florent Pettenberg, is it that guy? He's pretty good. He's already said it's a done deal. Medical apparently happening yesterday or today, depending on time part of the world you're in. So my expectation and hope is that he is done. I think it's today at 10:59 p.m. UK time. So I think they'll make sure that that's locked in with UEFA, because you can add anyone up in the squad up until that time. So I think in an ideal world, we'd have him. Obviously, Hassan's already in the door. If this Chelsea left back on loan is true, hopefully, there's pictures of him wandering around Lennoxtown yesterday. So you'd hope that could be done as well. So you want as many done before this date tonight, because then you can add a further 2 up until 24 hours before the match. So given, AJ's injury, cover for Tierney, are we do something really daft and accept an offer for Engels in the next week, right? Right, I don't think we will, but if a ludicrous offer, West Ham get to a ludicrous point, we might. And can we get Janitas done that quickly? He looks like his replacement. If all we see is true, the danger with that is it looks like Red Bull Salzburg have already entered an offer, so it looks like there's competition for him. He seemed like he was our number one target to replace Engels. If that's the case, and we're confident of getting, if Engels is going to go, I think you just go and do the deal, don't you? Like if you're bold enough, I don't think we are bold enough. I think we'll wait until Engels is absolutely done. So if we want to keep him for the tie, the danger is that Salzburg or somebody else goes and just completes the deal for Janitas. But he certainly looks like a profile, a kid who's been playing since he was 16 or 17 at a decent level, and nearly 30 caps, or depending on where you read, just above 30 caps for his country, and still only 22. He looks like a player you could spend anywhere between 8 and 12 on, and you could easily double or treble your money on him if he goes in a similar trajectory. I'd love to see us keep Engels, and I know there's a lot of people out there saying, qualify for the Champions League, got 8 Champions League games, surely that's better than playing in the Championship. He's right. It's right, but I think he'll go.
Yeah, I
we're
think
getting the 24 hours joke, Eddie. Can we just confirm we're getting the 24 hours joke that has been going on in the chat about Bauer?
Yeah.
Do you get it, Eddie? The TV show with Kiefer Sutherland. Jack
Donald would have been impressive.
All right. Got you now. Yeah. Got you now. I think Janitas is the guy that he's the only one that I've seen that would be a possible Engels kind of replacement, to be fair, at the ones we've talked about. But I thought that
another one coming up.
I thought that one had kind of died a death almost, that one. So I'd kind of given up on that one. But if that's still alive, that's interesting.
Okay. Well, so far we're talking about the ones that are almost certainly happening. We'll come back in a little while and we'll move on with ones that may or may not be. That'll be the next section of the conversation we have. But the first thing we're going to do is, I don't know if everyone's been aware of this. You may have seen a tweet that I did during the week there about Ella, who's walking from Sweden to Celtic Park. We have an interview with her, proper one, to play on this show. So it's a bit longer than certainly longer than the version I sent out earlier and tweeted. So sit back and relax, have a wee cup of tea. We'll be back in 12 minutes or whatever it is after this is finished playing. But this is a really inspiring story. So give it your fullest attention, everyone. Here we go. Daughter, welcome to a Celtic World.
Thank you.
Oh, well, why are you on the show today? You're here to tell us all about this incredibly exciting walk that you have planned for charity. Now, there it is. Where are you walking from and to?
I'm walking from Helsingborg, Henrik Larsson's hometown. His statue, to be exact, to Glasgow Celtic Park.
Why would you undertake such a crazy mission?
It's a long and a short story, but the short story is that I was severely ill this winter, or last winter, and I ended up with loss of memory and memory issues and severe cognitive issues after that. And I'm a PhD student, so due to those side effects, I couldn't keep writing my dissertation. So I'm on sick leave now still because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hospitalized for quite a while. And when I got out eventually, I hadn't been able to go outside by myself for such a long time. So when I got out, it was such huge relief for me. So I just started like walking all day, basically all day. And it continued day after day after day. And it was like a way of me to sort of like regain power of myself after feeling extremely powerless after hospitalization and cognitive issues and not being able to work. It was a way of, finding my way back to myself. And I mean, after a while I was like, maybe I should just walk like somewhere, like maybe I should just walk like very far. And then I started like Googling it and found other women who done like similar things, etc. Parallel to this, I watched football. I watched Celtic, and it sounds made up, but it was true. It felt like I was walking and I watched Celtic, and my mom teased me for it. And I think it was like before a derby or anything. Stuck in the Swedish countryside, I felt so lonely, stuck, and all. And I just told my mom, why don't I just cycle to Glasgow? There are no flights anyways. I just want to go to a game. And she said, why do you cycle? You can just walk. You walk every day anyways. So I was like, maybe I should actually do that. Maybe I should actually walk to Glasgow. And that wasn't like the moment where I decided to do it 100%, but that was sort of like the starting point in a way. And maybe I should mention also why I support Celtic. I've supported Celtic. I started to support Celtic. It sounds like a bit like I'm a fake Celtic supporter because I'm not like by birth a part of this community. I'm just a part of this community due to Henrik Larsson. I absolutely adored him when I was a kid. Like even though it was in Celtic or the Swedish national team, I adored him. And I played for a green and white team, and I loved football. I played football all my life. So football has always been there in various ways. So I just got stuck. And it has been like more or less like present in my life. It's obviously a bit more difficult to be like active when you're like 15 and live in the Swedish countryside and you don't have any Celtic family, of course. But then I moved to Glasgow in my 20s. And that's when it escalated, sort of. I'm 31 now. Yeah. And I kept like going to games. I was lucky enough to stay with a host family that they were Celtic supported and they could help me with tickets. So I'm so grateful for them. Like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So that's like how Celtic became like increasingly important in my life.
Well, this channel is a Celtic world, and we speak to Celtic fans all over the place. And many of us are sort of Irish or Scottish expats. But lots of people aren't, and lots of people come to Celtic in a variety of ways. One of the strongest Scottish accents you'll hear on this channel is a South Korean guy who's got absolutely no connection whatsoever with Celtic. He just heard the story, he read about it, fell in love with the story, and he's watched lots of Scottish comedy shows, and that's where he's picked up the accent from. So, it's a broad church, and we're delighted that you're part of the family.
Thank you. It's good to hear.
Okay. Well, let's have a little look at the journey, shall we?
Yeah.
So here we have the route. Ella, maybe you can talk us through the early stages of this. You're starting, as you say, in Helsingborg, which is here.
Yeah.
And then talk us through the initial walk.
So I will walk from Helsingborg, Henrik Larsson's hometown, Sweden, take the ferry to Denmark, then walk through south through Denmark, and then ferry, a bit further down, ferry, over there to Germany, and then I go a bit down south to Hamburg, and then from Hamburg to Bremen, and Bremen to the Dutch border, through the Netherlands to Amsterdam, and then Amsterdam to Newcastle, and then up north to Glasgow.
Incredible. And I read that you're planning to sleep under the stars where possible?
Yeah.
Camping?
No tent.
No tent?
No tent.
Oh. Why did you add that as a factor?
I mean, this sounds so incredibly sentimental. You don't have to include this, but there are so many people struggling much, much more than I will ever do every single day, and especially like every single day while I'm walking. And I saw this project that the Celtic Foundation had with like sleeping outside, like a challenge they had when people stayed outside. So I felt like, yeah, I can do that. I can try and do that. But I won't. So that was sort of like what inspired me from the start. But I won't sleep outside every night because I don't think my body could cope with that, because I need to sleep like properly. And I'm not gonna sleep outside when it's raining.
Sure.
And so, sorry?
Sure. No, well, I was just going to say, we haven't mentioned that, as you say, this is for the Celtic Foundation, and this is your page, Just Giving, a 1,000-mile solo trek from Sweden to Celtic Park. And your target is £10,000. Currently, you've raised a little over 1,000, 1,294. We're going to try and get that up for you.
Thank you.
Certainly, I will be contributing by the time this goes out, and hopefully it's some members of a Celtic world and the general Celtic world out there, because you're deserving of great support in this endeavor. 1,000-mile solo trek. How long is this going to take you?
I estimate it's going to take me 52 days.
Wow.
It's and that means I will need to walk a half marathon to a marathon every day.
Goodness me, that's a lot. You won't stop until you've reached and touched the statue of Celtic's founder, Brother Walfrid, at Celtic Park in early October 2026.
Yeah.
So you're going to be cataloguing your journey on Instagram from the start date, which is the 25th of August. That's very, very soon.
That's very soon.
And as the date approaches, are you increasingly excited and positive about it, or slightly anxious?
I mean, like, I spoke with my friend earlier today, and of course I'm both very excited and very nervous, but I don't feel anything right now because I feel like it's a bit too much. And I've been preparing for this since March. So I feel like, oh wow, it's actually happening now. Oh, I mean, like, I've been in this for such a long time now. It just feels, it's starting to feel like more and more unreal in that sense. But yeah, I am excited and I am nervous.
One step at a time, I guess.
Yeah.
Take the ferry to Denmark and start walking through Denmark. Take it from there.
Yeah, I have to like split the route up into like several like pieces, because I think it will be very hard. Like after 6 days, I walked like 6 marathons, 6 days in a row. I will feel like thinking about Celtic Park by then will be very overwhelming. So I think it'll be like, yeah, okay, let's cross the Danish border, let's cross the German border, let's cross the Dutch border, etc.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I mean, I'm slightly nervous for you as well.
Other people
probably
are.
one question is people saying, just stay safe, especially if you're sleeping out, things like that. Obviously, choose your spots wisely. I imagine in the big cities, you're more likely to be staying in a hotel. Is that right?
I'll stay with other Celtic supporters.
That's part of the plan.
So if you have if there are people out there, knowing people around the route, I would be so grateful.
Oh yeah.
If they would be willing to host me, that would be amazing. It's easier to find people in the larger cities such as Hamburg, of course, and Bremen and Amsterdam, but it's a bit more difficult to find people in between. And I will also stay with there's something called couch surfing. It's when you yeah.
Okay. Have you reached out to the CSCs or anything on the route, the supporters clubs?
Yeah, it's not the best route for Celtic Supporters Club, unfortunately. It's one in Hamburg, and in Amsterdam, and Newcastle.
Yeah.
And probably like up north through England as well, and then Scotland.
There's a fair few.
Yeah.
And are there people on the other end who are going to meet up with you in Glasgow to be there for your triumphant walk up to the statue?
My host family will be there. That's all I know now. But yeah, it would be amazing if people could meet up with me. Of course, that would be brilliant, really.
Well, we're just a humble little podcast, but we'll do what we can to try and help with all of the things that we mentioned: the funds, the people along the way, and the people in Glasgow. And we'll see what we can do to help get the word out there, Ella.
Thank you so much.
And congratulations in advance for this incredible undertaking. You've got great courage and vision to do such a thing.
Thanks.
There you go. That was Ella, obviously. A fantastic thing that she's doing. Your reaction to that video, Paul?
Wee bit emotional, mate. Obviously, I flagged it a few weeks ago, spotted it on Instagram a little bit back, and said we should probably try and give this some airplay or get it some notice. And without any further ado, and without you telling me, you went off and organised that interview. So I obviously only heard about that after you had it in the can, which is great. Yeah, and obviously I saw the snippet, but I didn't know the full background. So yeah, a little bit emotional watching that. And fair play to her. I think, yeah, our job and every one of our viewers and listeners is to get the word out. We'll obviously put, if you haven't already, I'm sure you'll put the Just Giving in the show notes or in the comments. We'll put our Instagram and we'll get that out. I've already, if anyone's following me on X or Twitter, I tweeted about this the other day. It's got a little bit of traction, but obviously I'm a small fry in the Celtic media, and I've messaged a few others to try and get a bit of weight behind it, and it's had a few retweets, and it's up. We're up to nearly $3,000, I think, from 1,300. So we're on the way. I think with 2,829. So yeah, I think yeah, if everyone can just get on social media, share it around. I saw Paddy saying that you'll get PJD on the case. I've had a little word with Hamish. I think he's going to try and do something, and so on and so forth. I think obviously the more we can get it in the public eye, and as she starts and it moves forward, obviously people will get made more aware. It would be phenomenal if there was a massive crowd to sort of follow her through the last few miles up to the stadium, and yeah, I saw some people suggesting get Henrik Larsson involved or Benji Negrin, but yeah, like
that would be amazing.
The Celtic family comes out for this sort of stuff, so I absolutely expect that we'll get this much further along by the time we get going.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it to our attention, Paul, because it's happening very soon. Like in 2 weeks, like 10, 12 days, she's going to start. And as we said there, when we recorded that just a few days ago, she was on about 1,200. So she's more than doubled that, by mostly people just putting in what they can afford. Small donations, they all add up. Although one person put in £1,000. So anonymously, of course. So if you're watching and you did that, thank you very much. That's incredible. Obviously, the donations don't have to be enormous like that. Every little helps. That's really, really something. And I know she's very touched by just us showing an interest in her. And I tweeted the short version of that video out, and I tagged all the people that I know in the Celtic podcast world a little bit, Paul John and Hamish and all these kind of people, various others anyway. So if she could get more exposure on bigger podcasts than us, that would obviously help. That would be great if that could happen. If she could get on Axum, obviously that would be the key one. Or I don't know what the numbers are, the Celtic Way maybe. Or Hamish's show, around 118. He's the one with the most, isn't he? As a single fella, anyway.
Yeah, I think he's got the biggest subscriptions.
Yeah, but I mean, I was a bit shocked as you saw in that video, Eddie, to hear that she's planning to sleep rough in solidarity with the work that the foundation does.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was quite incredible. I must admit, I'm the same as Paul. I only saw the short version, so I didn't know a lot of the backstory, which is quite, as Paul said, emotional, really, and it obviously means an awful lot to her. But yeah, to be kind of sleeping outside under the stars wherever you are in that part of the world is something special, really. I know the sofa thing that she talked about. I've heard people talking about that, and people are using that, sofa surfing or whatever it's called. I've heard that before.
Couch surfing.
Yeah, and I think there'll be a lot of people, I think, that will be able to help and assist along the way. And I'd love to see Celtic Way sort of quite jammed when she's doing that final walk up. I mean, I think she's planning to get there the day before a game, I think, right? From what
before the Hearts game, yeah.
And it would be ideal, if even the day after that it could be recognised if people are not there. But yeah, to be sleeping sort of kind of rough the way the idea of the foundation have been doing outside for years is pretty special as well, and it means a lot to her. But I think she'll smash the 10 grand. I think if we manage to get some traction across the rest of the Celtic world and the CSCs, it's certainly, I'm sure El Presidente will do something from Bangkok as well and spread the word on our channels. And I think every CSC should do the same. That's where it's all going to come from. So best of luck to her, and it's just incredible to talk about doing, half marathons and marathons in a day is pretty special. I mean, I do 10K a day on a speed walk, and that's tough enough, But to be doing marathons, half marathons in a day, that's phenomenal stuff. So best of luck to her, really, best of luck.
Yeah, and like I say, we're just a little obscure podcast found by the most discerning viewers, obviously. It's like a little secret. Celtic World viewers, is that right, Paul? Paying attention.
I'm just doing some work to try and boost the numbers. So yeah. I'm multitasking, and people say men can't multitask. So yeah, I'll be back with you in a couple of few seconds.
Yeah, no, it would be incredible if more could get behind it. All right, well, that's Ella. We will be following her story. As I say, she's going to be cataloging it on Instagram, so we'll keep you updated as to how she's getting on. And we obviously, I know as a group, we all wish her all the very best. Some lovely comments coming in there, by the way. Thank you very much for those. So hopefully that'll give her great encouragement. I'm sure she'll be watching this show, maybe not live, but she'll certainly be watching it afterwards. So good on you, Ella. Best of luck. Can't wait to see this whole thing get underway. All right. So let's get back to all of the news on Celtic transfers. I had to change the run list again, or the run sheet of what we're going to talk about, because the first name I was going to mention was Greg Taylor, and he has now been usurped, hasn't he, by this fella. Chelsea left back Landon Emenalo. Apparently he's been spotted, or there's people thinking they've spotted him already at Lennoxtown. Who's this fella? Don't recognise him. Look at the haircut, all of that kind of stuff. He's supposed to be an excellent young prospect. Going to be coming in on loan. Is that the idea, Paul? He can play in a number of positions across the back, I understand.
I think he was a midfielder originally, and he's a recent conversion to left back. Only 18, I think, highly regarded. Obviously, it's not ideal that you're sort of developing other teams' players, but if he's as good as some of Chelsea's kids, then that's a player you're probably not going to be able to secure yourself. So we absolutely need the cover. It's a little bit more out of the box than just taking Greg Taylor back, as much as I think he'd be an able deputy. I think a lot of fans grumbled with Greg Taylor was he was first pick and sort of didn't have anyone breathing down his neck, and he didn't fancy being KT's understudy a year ago, but obviously he's not really set the feather on fire in Greece. So yeah, I think he'll be a good addition. We definitely need cover there. I think we need cover in there rapidly. Like I said, I think it would be great if he or any other left back is locked in before this deadline tonight, and that leaves 2 spots for next week for any last minute key additions, of which hopefully right back will be one. But yeah, happy to see movement on there. Happy to see it's a little bit more creative thinking than I imagine it's coming from our ex-Chelsea scout, which makes sense.
Yeah.
No, but let's move on, Eddie. We talked earlier about Ganitis, Gavitis Ganitis, and whether or not he will be available. If we try and keep Engels for at least the first leg of the Champions League, who knows? But there is another player who might be his replacement, whose name has come up again, and that is Nico Sigur, the Hajduk split midfielder. Do you know much about him? He's Canadian. He wants to team up with Alistair Johnson, who's almost certainly going to be with us this season for one reason or another. Eddie,
I don't know much. I'm not fully aware of this guy. I saw this the last couple of days, and it was interesting. He's a Canadian. He's got a number of caps as well. I don't remember seeing him playing with Johnson for Canada, but that would be an interesting one. And again, I don't know too much about him. I've got to put my hands up and say that.
More of a defensive midfielder, I think. So won't have all the things in his locker, perhaps, that Arnie Engels has, although It does sound like Bauer has a few of the things in his locker that Arnie Engels had, even though he's not a replacement for Arnie Engels. But I mean, I'm sick of all this replacing players with other players. Some players come and go. They've all got different skill sets. They're all different ingredients into the soup. As long as the soup tastes good in the end, doesn't matter who's doing what. You get me?
Exactly that. It's what we said the other day when we were looking at Duran and where he was playing against Dundee, and then he was playing, the right hand side, and even when we were watching Hogh playing against Dundee, and we had Sinisalo just leaping it up to him, up straight up the middle to him. That's not how he was playing, and what attracted us to him. But the thing is, as you say, it's like bits and pieces, ingredients in a recipe, and you put it together and you get it to work the way you want it to work. And that worked against Kilmarnock, albeit that obviously Kilmarnock were set up in a pretty awful manner, really, to play against us. But I think it's like, I think Martinoneill was just spoken today, hasn't he? There was an interview with him today, and he was saying the same sort of thing. It just depends on what you want the players to do, and talking about Hassan, saying it is a dying art that wingers go past defenders, so he'll have different ways. I mean, you've got to think to yourself, do you want to have that mix of players so that you can actually change that formation depending on who you're playing against, or even mid-game? And maybe that's what we're actually doing. We're maybe looking a little bit wider than we were before, rather than direct replacements. So you're getting players in that can do 2 or 3 roles, so that you can change formations easier and with a bit more confidence than
Martin's always talking about these days, isn't he? Being flexible.
He kind of done it against Hearts in that last game, didn't he? Really, I mean, he kind of changed the formation sort of halfway through and then changed it back again. So right. I think he wants that flexibility, but I think the thing about him and Martinoneill and the way we're signing at the moment, you can only do it if you're confident enough in the players to be flexible. And that's where the quality rather than quantity comes in, right? You need to have that quality of player to be able to make sure that he has got the ability to do a couple of things perhaps that he wouldn't do. And I don't mean just dumping people across from left back to right back because you've got nobody else to do it. That's madness. So we certainly need to have those backups for those positions that are wholly defensive or whatever. But the midfield up front and the wings, yeah, you need that flexibility. Sorry, I'm rambling again. Slapped hand again.
I'm doing my best to clip your wings there. Smell the glove comment here. Like Canadian players, hard. I think he means Canadian players are hard rather than telling us the effect that signing Canadian players has on him. On a similar knob gag joke, can you get antibiotics for having genitis? Asked Paddy Lavery. I imagine Paddy would know his way around that issue. Okay, let's move it on for that. Chaiwa, Paul, briefly, if you can. Is there anything in this, or do you think this is his agent just trying to get in on the act?
Well, I think there was some links towards the back end of last season, and the agent might well be trying to drum up some interest. I think he's a decent player. Now, I guess it's where he lands in the spectrum of potential signings is whether you're accepting that signing or not. Like, if he's, a similar signing to Luke McCowan, which is a solid squad player, give you cover, etc., then I think that's fine. If he's been earmarked as a potential replacement for Arnie Engels, I think that's far from fine. So it really just depends how they're being used. But he's a useful enough player, I think, and still pretty young from what I can gather. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think we've missed out on quality players in and around the Scottish League too often, including various players at Motherwell from last season that would have been solid squad additions, certainly better than some of the people we've already got. So if this is to replace some squad stuff that's not looking great, then I've got no real against it. But if it's to replace a player that's leaving for 25-30 million, then probably not.
Yeah, we seem to be dealing with higher quality all around the international scene, I'd have to say, than him. Okay, let's move it on. We've only got 55 minutes. We're up to already, so let's have a look at a few other issues happening in Scotland. Things aren't going too well over the other side of the city, are they? Termiti could be out now for, well, the rest of the season, they say, which is very unfortunate for him, although I think a fair amount of the Celtic reaction is this. You seen this clip? Anyway.
It's a classic.
Sad for them. Sad for him. But
For him, yeah.
Yeah, what's the other thing I've got? Oh, yeah, I saw this. This was quite fun. This has been taken down, so I can't show you the tweet. It's no longer in existence, but it was some Rangers fan saying, do you think we'll ever get near them again? I genuinely believe we'll see them hit 20 in a row before we even have a sniff, and then we'll end up second in the league. I mean, they're staring down the barrel. The fact that we survived last season and the way we've started this season and the players we're signing and everything, when are we going to start talking about 10? It's got to be soon.
Let's get 6 and 7 out of the way. But yeah,
let's get the next few games out of the way. Let's get
I usually call the season in the first 2 or 3 weeks. The first 2 to 5 weeks of the season. And Paddy Power have already done it, so they've kind of stole my thunder. But based on and I'm being a little bit flippant, but based on how we are shaping up and what other teams look like, I know Mahesh is very worried about Hearts, but he seems to think they've strengthened. I'm not sure if that's the case. We'll wait and see. I do think McInnes was a drag on them, but they've sold some good players, including I saw Kezaridis is out the door as well. So be interesting. They'll take a while to gel. I'm sure they'll be half decent. They've got injuries and all sorts of issues as well. Still think they'll probably be better than Rangers this year, but I think 2 games a week with Europe will do for them, unless they manage to completely balls it up and not even qualify for the conference, which I'm not sure if that's possible. I think it might be. So if they manage to drop out of 3 European competitions, maybe they'll have an okay league run. But if they're playing Thursday, Sunday, I can't see that they'll be able to put a decent run together. So yeah, certainly I'm not being too complacent because I think there's still players to go and players to come. But on the business we've done so far, I think this season should be a reasonably bit more comfortable than last year.
Okay, and none of us are based in Northern Europe or anything, but of course there was a big event happened recently, an astronomical event, which has been the source of lots of fun on the internet. Let's have a look at some eclipse humor to round out the show here. There's one for you. It's quite a good one. Let me see if I can find these other ones now. Oh, you've all seen this one, I'm sure. That's us eclipsing them, which is, happened some time ago. It's not a recent event. Don't know why I have this one up, just to show you what an eclipse looks like, but you've probably seen it all. So this is quite a good one. This is more a Celtic World's kind of... Enjoy this. Watch the comments roll in. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
There you go. Well, I know you got to give the people what they want, Paul. We've got Paddy Lavery and all in the chat.
I'm a little bit horrified by this rampant misogyny, Gavin. I thought you were gonna show us the Baldies eclipse. Have you seen this one doing the rounds? There's a bald guy standing on the edge of the road, and another bald guy walks across him. But obviously, that wasn't. It was maybe a bit too close to the bone for you. So you've left that alone and resorted to 1970s sexist humor instead. Dear oh dear.
Sexist. Well, we make fun of men every week. I have to make fun of. I mean, we're not making fun of women. It's not misogyny. I demand a recount. That's outrageous. But Paul always pulls me up on it. So there you go. It's good that you do. Good that somebody does, Paul. All right.
I'm a lone voice.
of modern man on a Celtic world. That's good.
I do try.
All right.
I do try.
We've just hit the hour mark. So we'll wrap it up there. Good show. Enjoyed that tonight. Thank you everyone in the chat for all your comments as usual, especially when we had Ella on. I thought they were great. And I'll probably snip that Ella video with all the comments on it and put it up on YouTube in its own right. So if you see that, feel free to comment, like it and all that. Obviously, donations would be the most welcome thing of all. But otherwise, if there's people out there on the route and all of that kind of stuff, or would welcome her when she gets into Celtic, that would be incredible. We'll be following her progress so you can keep up with her on a Celtic world. Okay? So there you go. That's today's show. Until Monday, hail, hail, everyone.
Hail, hail.
Well, thanks.